The cemetery air hung heavy. A chill settled upon the stone. Twilight painted the sky in hues of orange and violet. The poet, a man named Silas, felt a tremor in his chest. His heart, weakened by time and sorrow, stuttered. He reached for his notebook, fingers brushing against parchment. One last verse, he thought. One final offering. The world spun. Silas crumpled, his quill rolling across the ground. His last breath mingled with the scent of lilies, a final sigh carried away by the wind. The tunnel pulsed with colours, a kaleidoscope of impossible shades. He saw flashes of his life, moments of joy and sorrow, love and loss. They danced around him, phantoms of his past. He saw his childhood home bathed in the warmth of summer sun. He saw the face of his lost love, her eyes sparkling with laughter. And then a figure emerged from the swirling colours, a woman draped in crimson silk, her lips a scarlet promise. Her eyes, the colour of emeralds, held a depth that both captivated and terrified him. She moved with an ethereal grace, her laughter echoing through the tunnel. He reached for her, his fingers brushing against something cool and smooth. Her skin? A glove? He couldn't tell. She smiled, a knowing smile, and then she was gone, vanished like a wisp of smoke. He found himself standing on a hilltop, a blanket of fog obscuring the world below. The air crackled with an unseen energy, a symphony of whispers carried on the wind. He felt a presence beside him, turning to see the woman in red. Her dress flowed around her like liquid fire, her eyes burning with an otherworldly light. "Welcome, Silas," she purred, her voice a melodious whisper. "This is the in-between, a realm where souls wander and destinies are rewritten." He stumbled back, fear gripping his heart. Was she an angel? A demon? Her smile held both warmth and a hint of something more sinister. He had so many questions, but the words caught in his throat. She extended a hand, her touch sending a jolt of energy through him. "Come," she beckoned, "I have much to show you." Section 4. Verses of Rebirth, Ink and Inspiration. She led him through the mist, down a winding path that seemed to shift and change with every step. They arrived at a clearing where a rustic cottage stood bathed in moonlight. Inside, a fire crackled in the hearth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. On a table lay a quill and parchment, beckoning him closer. He sat, his fingers tracing the smooth surface of the paper. The woman leaned close, her scent a heady mix of roses and something ancient, primal. "Write, Silas," she urged, her voice a low thrum in the stillness. "Tell me your story. Tell me of your life, your loves, your regrets." He hesitated, his hand hovering over the parchment. What could he possibly say? What words could capture the depths of his soul, the complexities of his existence? But as he met her gaze, a fire ignited within him. He began to write, the words flowing from him like water, each stroke of the quill a release. Section 5. Hope's resurgence returned to the mortal coil. He wrote of his childhood, of the joy and freedom of youth. He wrote of his first love, a whirlwind of passion that ended in heartbreak. He wrote of his art, the poetry that flowed from his soul like lifeblood. As he wrote, the cottage seemed to fade, replaced by a kaleidoscope of images from his past. He saw himself as a young boy laughing in the sun. He saw himself with his love, their faces aglow with happiness. And then he saw the cemetery, the setting sun, the feel of cold stone beneath his hand. He jolted awake, gasping for breath. He was back in the cemetery, the morning light painting the sky in soft hues of pink and gold. His notebook lay open on his chest, the ink still wet from his final verse. He sat up, his head spinning, his heart pounding. Was it all a dream? A hallucination in the final moments of his life? He looked around, searching for any sign of the woman in red, the mysterious cottage, the impossible journey, but there was nothing. Only the quiet serenity of the graveyard and the gentle warmth of the rising sun. He stood, his legs shaky beneath him, and picked up his notebook. As he read the words he had written, a strange sense of peace washed over him. He didn't have all the answers, but he knew one thing for sure. He was no longer afraid.